Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Naruto Shippuden episode 294. Now, if you remember from last episode, we see Kabuto actually saving Doku and Naruto. Really now? Now, you know there's a catch on why, but we'll see that in the next episode. But again, definitely love seeing that, something you usually don't see from Kabuto unless there's a catch. Now, moving on past that, we find out Leo and Mina both want to save Doku and Naruto, as well as all the other kids that are with them. Now, as a little catch, we find out Leo actually has the bars that originally were with Doku, so they're going to use those bars as a bargaining chip to get Naruto and Doku back. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Kakashi as well as the shinobi that are with him, and they're planning to head to the location known as the Hole. Just thought I'd mention that. Now, moving on past that, toward the end of the episode, we find out the Hacho village leader. He's not reanimated, but he's on Kabuto's side. And we find out he has a Saizer, or the Sazuri, depending on how you want to pronounce it, and he's showing Doku and Naruto what it looks like, and he's talking with Doku directly, trying to find out where the sounds are, or in this case, the two bars that would complete the Sazuri to activate it. And again, that's where the episode ends. And I'll hold my final thoughts on my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right in. Now, we open up this episode with actually seeing the Hacho village leader with the Sazuri, and he's showing Doku and Naruto what it is. And again, he's trying to ask Doku, or at least force Doku to tell him where the last two bars are at, or in this case, the sounds. I hate how he refers to them as the sounds, though. It just sounds wrong. I like calling them the bars, since that's what they were originally called. But sorry, I digress. Moving on past that, now we do find out the Hacho village leader apparently was also responsible for the Tanako village attack, so he took part in that. But again, he is not reanimated, at least not to my knowledge, but he is working with Kabuto in general. But moving on past that, now we do find out the Hacho village leader in general wants Doku to talk. He wants those bars. I don't know how many times I can point this out. That's all he wants. He doesn't care about this guy living or dying. Well, obviously, if he dies, he's going to turn him into a reanimated shinobi just so he can get the information out of him. And for the love of me, I don't know why he didn't do that at the beginning. If the Hacho village leader just killed Doku and reanimated him, it'd be so much easier to get all this information out of him. But you know, let's do it the hard way. That makes sense, right? No, it doesn't. But moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Leo and Mina, as well as all those other kids that are with them. They're actually right above Naruto and Doku. They're on the surface. And again, we do find out Leo has the two bars that the Hacho village leader wants. Now we see a little snake passing by them, which means Kabuto now actually knows where they're at. So we do find out Kabuto, as well as everyone else, are now up on the surface, and they're going to have a one-on-one confrontation with the kids to get those bars back. Now, ironically, Kabuto's like, oh, you have the bars. And eventually the Hacho village leader knows now as well. So now the bargaining chip is being taken by the Hacho village leader. But again, that's where we opened up at. Moving on. Now we are taken to a different scene with the Hacho village leader, and he's kind of crazy right now in my opinion, kind of psychotic. I don't know, he's like having an episode of having everything all at once type of feel. But sorry, I digress. Moving on. Now we do find out he finally has the bars, or as he likes to call them, the sounds, and he puts them into the Sazuri to activate it. Now while that's going on, we are taken to a brief little cutscene with Naruto. He's being left behind and no one's watching him. Now he apparently still has those snakes which act as ropes around him, binding him, and every single time he gets stronger and he uses his chakra, it feeds the snakes. So we see him close his eyes, or something along those lines, where he's trying to relax in general. And we see some of the snakes turn into frogs. So I see some of his Sage mode kind of jumping out there. Maybe, just putting that out there. But we are taken to a different scene with the Hacho village leader, and he's actually trying to activate the Sazuri with the two bars he just got. Now I believe there are 7 bars total, so he finally has all of them together and he's trying to activate them. Now we can actually see a brief cutscene with Naruto, and the ground around him is turning red. Now at the same time, while the ground is turning red around Naruto, we see Mina on the surface above, and she's humming all the sounds that's coming from the Sazuri, which I don't know why or how she's actually doing that. How does she know that's what the sounds are going to be, or is she just mimicking the sounds that she's hearing? You don't know. But moving on to a different scene. Now we are taken to a different scene with Naruto in general, and we find out the roof right above him is collapsing, it's coming down, and it looks like it's going to squash him or kill him in general. But that's all we really see. But he does close his eyes, so maybe he's going to pull something out of his ass. We don't know, but we're definitely going to find out. Now we are taken to a different scene. Now while the roof of this structure is collapsing on Naruto, the structure above Naruto on the surface is actually rising, and it looks like it's forming a tower-like structure. At least that's what it appears to look like. And we see Doku say the words Ama no Hoko, so at least that's what he's referring it to. I don't know if there's really any meaning behind that, but again, Doku is calling this new structure or tower Ama no Hoko. Just thought I'd point that out. Now moving on to a different scene, we do see Kakashi, and he's watching all of this crap in the background. So he's got Kakashi as well as all the shinobi that followed him, and they're just sitting back and they're watching everything and they're getting ready to attack. That was the build-up anyways. At least that's what the build-up was really at. I thought there was going to be an all-out frontal attack all at once, but that's not really the case. But I just thought I'd point that out. Now we do find out that there were some old posters of the Hacho village leader that Kakashi actually points out, because we see him joining in on the conversation, and he points out, we know who you are, the Hacho village leader, we know your real identity. We found these old wanted posters of you. Now apparently you specialize in a summoning jutsu, and you are also known as the homicidal maniac, and he also is a researcher in the reanimated jutsu, kind of like Kabuto is. So now we know who you really are. I'm not going to say his name because I'm sick of pronouncing names that I can't pronounce. I'll leave it at that. But it starts with a D, at least that's what I remember. Now moving on to the next scene, now we're taken to Kabuto. Now he's not going to sit down and take this because he sees Kakashi, all the shinobi, and he's going to take the defensive. Or should I say, he's no longer in a reserved mode, he's going all in now. We see 17 coffins being summoned. 17 of them. Not 6, not 8, but 17 coffin. Obviously they're going to be reanimated like shinobi inside of them. At the same time we see these 7 coffins being summoned, we see 2 large snakes appear, and obviously Kabuto was the one that summoned them. Out of one of the snakes actually spits up the 9-tail chakra clone. Gets like literally spat up. Spat, spit, whatever you want to call it. It literally just throws up the 9-tails chakra clone. So now the 9-tail chakra clone is now on the battlefield. Now it gets even more amazing. We see the reanimated shinobi versus the Leaf Village shinobi. So it's an amazing confrontation one-on-one. But we do find out Deidre, I hate this guy, but at the same time, you gotta love his techniques. He uses like a smoke screen explosion to mask their attack at the start. So it's kind of unfair advantage, but at least it was their advantage. They had the upper hand, at least for the time being. And moving on past that, we see Naruto appear. He's now free. So he's there, and it looks like he's in Sage mode. His eyes definitely dictate he's in Sage mode. At least that's what I got from this episode. Now moving on past that, we do see Naruto versus the 9-tails chakra clone. Finally. But the sad ending of this is we really don't get to see the build-up or the fight. It's more or less cutscenes, so we got kind of robbed in this scenario. At least that's where we're at. Moving on to the next scene, we are taken to, obviously, something a little more different. We see the reanimated shinobi, and they're exploding. Okay, Deidre had something to do with this. It smells like something Deidre would come up with. Now we see a couple, not all of them, just a few of the shinobi that are reanimated exploding. So they're attacking Choji and everyone else, Sakura, Sai, and the bodies just randomly explode. So you definitely know Deidre had a hand in this. Of course, moving on past that, we are taken to a scene with Naruto versus the 9-tails chakra clone, and it's like they're having open dialogue or something. Now the end result is Naruto ends up winning, but he points out, what makes me different from you, what makes me me, is the power inside of me. That's what makes me stronger and what makes me me. I mean, it was kind of like a mushy moment, but it needed to be said. That's all I can say. Now moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with, I guess, one of the shinobi, and I don't know how to really describe it, but they're not resurrecting. You see all these shinobi that are reanimated, and somehow, if you remember from past episodes, usually they are resurrected. None of them are resurrecting when they get taken down, so you can see there's a flaw in this reanimation jutsu already. I thought it was perfected even more, but no, I was wrong. Literally, I was wrong. It's a weak ass jutsu right now because it's not bringing them back to life. But sorry, I digress. Moving on. Now we are taken to a little cutscene with the Hacho village leader, and he's about to activate the Saizer. Literally, because it looks like it's about, all it has to do is like a little button needs to be pressed to be activated, and we see Yamamoto appear out of nowhere and stop him. But it doesn't stop him because we see the Hacho village leader use his head. He headbutts the control board to activate it. So now the Saizer has been activated. So sad, too bad. Moving on to the next scene, we see Mina. And again, we see Doku and Shizuri. They're running away with the kids because, you know, they're no longer part of this fight. They're gone. But we see Mina still humming that annoying tune, and we don't know why. But moving on past that, we see Naruto, and it's kind of interesting because he's still on the structure and it's rising. And we don't know why this structure is rising, but we can assume, literally we can deduce that it's because of the Saizer. It's been activated. But again, we see the structure around Naruto rising, so it's been activated. It's got this really red, dark red-black glow to it. And all I can say is that this Nine-Tail chakra clone falls inside. It literally falls inside of it. I thought it was hilarious because it's got nowhere to go, so it falls inside of it. But we are taken to a different scene with Kakashi, and he is chasing Kabuto. And again, Kabuto really isn't putting up much of a fight. In fact, he's just running away, and Kakashi's trying to literally hunt him down. Now, I thought we were going to see a one-on-one, but that doesn't happen, so we don't see a one-on-one. It's just Kabuto literally running away. Now, while this is going on, we see the clouds and the sky around everyone turn to red. So there's like a red cloud or red sky now because of the Saizer, more or less, because it's been activated now. But moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Naruto, and with the Hacho, I believe it's with the Hacho village leader, and all I can say is there's a monster now at the top of the structure. It looked like the Hacho village leader was going to go into his evil monologue with Naruto, but before that can take place, we see a monster on the top of this structure that looks like a new tower or skyscraper now, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's the Nine Tails chakra clone. At least in my opinion, that's what it has to be. So we are taken to the end of the episode where we're left with this monster on the top of the structure. And that's where the episode ends. Final thoughts? Well, first of all, is the Hacho village leader going to obtain this power? Or is he going to be taken down by Naruto or this Nine Tails chakra clone that's still freaking alive? Or at least that's what it looks like. We don't know. Moving on past that, why is Mina humming these annoying, why is she humming all the sounds coming from the Saizer? We don't know. Is she connected to it, or is she just mimicking what she's hearing? Again, we don't know. Moving on past that, this monster, which could be the Nine Tails chakra clone, is it super power charged now because of the Saizer? Because when the Saizer exploded, shot like a huge burst of power up into the air, making the clouds and whatnot into like this red dust. Is it going to make him stronger? Is he stronger? Or did this just screw him over more, like just steal his power and is slowly killing him? I don't know. There's a lot of theories, but that's where I'm at. I'm wondering, is he still going to get stronger, or is this the last we've seen of his real power? And is he just decaying? Is he dying? We don't know. But again, that ends it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5. Obviously because the fights, the battles, they weren't drawn out. They never are drawn out. That's the sad part. So we get to see like the build up, and then it's being stolen from us. Like Kabuto versus Kakashi. We see Kabuto basically running away. He's not even confronting Kakashi, which is kind of sad. Now Naruto versus, the Nine Tails chakra clone. It was interesting, but there was no build up. It was just, done. It was a done fight. Been there, done that. It's done. Now, obviously with the reanimated shinobi, that was kind of all over the place, and we really didn't get to see it, not only not drawn out, but we didn't get to see real fights. So again, final rating 3.5 out of 5. And again, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Naruto Shippuden episode 294. But again, that ends it for now. I still have one more walkthrough and review to do of Blast of Tempest, so definitely stay tuned. And of course, I've got one more special little update to do after that, so definitely stay tuned. But again, guys, I gotta hit the bricks, I gotta go, and before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.